There's a rule inside Japanese homes that almost nobody outside Japan has ever heard of. It's not about cleaning, it's not about organizing bins or color-coded shelves. It's something quieter than that. A woman in Kyoto once explained it simply. A home should never hold more than it can breathe around. Most Western homes are gasping. Ours are stacked with things we don't use, don't need, and secretly don't even like, but we keep them anyway because getting rid of them feels like a small betrayal. Japan doesn't see it that way at all. In Japan, removing something isn't loss, it's respect for the object, for the space, and for the version of you who no longer needs it. Most people in the West never realize that clutter isn't really a mess. It's an unspoken weight sitting quietly in every room, making the whole house feel heavier than it should. So here's the challenge. 12 categories of things are hiding in your home right now, and by Sunday night, you're going to remove all of them. Some will feel obvious, some will surprise you. Number 9 is sitting in your kitchen unused right now. Number 11 might be the hardest thing you do all week. It's not about mess at all, it's about memory. And number 12, it's the smallest category on this list, and somehow it will feel like the biggest relief. If you've ever walked into your own living room and felt tired before you even sat down, this is for you. Stay until the end because the last item on this list doesn't just lighten your home, it changes how you see everything you own. Open any kitchen drawer in the average Western home, and you'll find the same story. 4 spatulas, 6 coffee mugs, a drawer full of chargers for phones you don't even own anymore. We keep backups because backups feel like safety. If one breaks, another is waiting. If one gets lost, there's always a spare. Japan looks at that same drawer and sees something different. Not preparation, anxiety, quietly disguised as practicality. In a Japanese home, you won't find 3 mediocre mugs. You'll find one good one, chosen carefully, used daily, cared for like it matters. This connects to Mottainai, a Japanese sense of regret over waste. It doesn't mean hoarding things just in case. It means honoring what you have by actually using it fully instead of burying it under backups you'll never touch. Here's the part that changes things. Every duplicate you own isn't extra security, it's a decision you're avoiding. And the moment you choose one good version of anything, you stop managing clutter and start living with intention. Somewhere in your pantry, there's a can of something you bought 2 years ago, maybe longer. You're not saving it because you need it, you're saving it because throwing it away feels wasteful, even though it's expired, even though it's been pushed to the back and forgotten. This is the just-in-case stockpile, and almost everyone has one. In Japan, this habit gets re-examined through the very idea we just mentioned, Mottainai, that quiet regret over waste. But here's what nobody talks about. Waste isn't only throwing something away. Waste is also space, sitting there, doing nothing, holding items that will never be used before they expire anyway. An expired can isn't potential, it's not backup, it's just weight, taking up a shelf that could hold something you'll actually reach for. This is the part that changes how you see everything else. Keeping something just in case doesn't protect you from waste, it guarantees it. True Mottainai means using what you have, not stockpiling what you'll eventually throw away untouched. Somewhere in your home, there's a vase you don't like, a painting that doesn't match anything, a trinket from a relative who visits twice a year and always checks the shelf to make sure it's still there. You keep it out of love, or guilt, or some tangled version of both. Most people in the West never realize how many decisions in their own home aren't really their decisions at all. Japan draws a much cleaner line between gratitude and display. Receiving a gift with a warm heart is one thing. Displaying it forever, out of obligation, is another thing entirely, and Japanese culture doesn't confuse the two. You can honor a gesture without giving it permanent real estate in your home. Gratitude lives in the moment you received it, not the years you spend dusting around it. And this is the part that changes everything. That vase isn't a tribute to the person who gave it to you. It's a reminder of the pressure you feel to keep performing appreciation for something you never chose. Let the gesture live in memory. Let the object go. Number 4 is quieter than this one because it's not sitting on a shelf. It's hanging in your closet, waiting for a version of you that hasn't shown up yet. Every closet has one. The jeans from 10 years ago. The dress you bought for a body you don't have right now. The blazer for the job you might someday get. You tell yourself you're keeping it for later, but later rarely comes, and the clothes just hang there, untouched, season after season. In Japan, this habit has a name, and it cuts deeper than closet space. Danshari, the practice of consciously refusing, disposing, and separating from things that no longer serve you. It's not just about clothes, it's about the identity attached to them. Those jeans aren't waiting for your body, they're waiting for a version of you that may never exist, a future self built more from hope than from truth. And every day you keep them, you're quietly telling your current self that it isn't enough yet. You've been living with this one for years. Japan solved it centuries ago. Danshari doesn't ask you to give up hope. It asks you to stop postponing your life for a person who hasn't arrived and may never come. Number 5 is the item almost nobody expects to see on this list, and if you stay until the end, you'll understand why it might be the most important one here. A chair with a wobbly leg, a lamp that flickers, a necklace with a broken clasp sitting in a drawer for 2 years, waiting for a repair that never happens. You don't use it, you don't display it, you just keep it, telling yourself you'll get to it eventually. Here's what nobody talks about. Japan doesn't ask you to hide broken things away in shame, but it doesn't ask you to ignore them forever either. This gets confused with Wabi-Sabi, the idea of finding peace and beauty in imperfection. But Wabi-Sabi was never about neglect. In Japan, broken things are honored, not hidden. Kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold, treats the crack itself as beautiful, worth highlighting rather than concealing. That's real wabi-sabi. Fix it with intention or release it completely. Never let it sit in limbo, forgotten in a drawer. This is the part that changes how you see everything else in that drawer. A broken object isn't imperfect in the beautiful way, not while it's ignored. It's just unfinished business, quietly draining a little energy from you every time you see it. Number 6 isn't in a drawer at all. It's everywhere in your home, all at once, and you've probably stopped seeing it completely. Look at your kitchen counter right now, or your bathroom sink, or the top of your dresser. Chances are it's not empty. It's covered. Candles, mail, half-used bottles, little objects that arrived one at a time and never left. None of it looks like a mess exactly. It's just there, always there. In Japan, this kind of surface clutter is understood differently. It's not decoration. It's visible anxiety, spread out in plain sight. Japanese interiors follow a principle called kanso, simplicity as the foundation of calm. A clear surface isn't empty because nothing matters. It's clear because everything on it was chosen, not accumulated. Every object you leave sitting out is a tiny decision your mind has to process, over and over, every time you walk past it. Multiply that by 30 objects on one counter, and you understand why some rooms feel exhausting just to stand in. But here's what nobody talks about. Clearing a counter doesn't just tidy a room, it quiets something. And what we're about to cover next, most people in the West have never even considered it. A drawer somewhere in your home is full of paper, old receipts, manuals for appliances you no longer own, statements from an account you closed years ago. You keep them because some quiet voice tells you that you might need them someday, even though you can't remember the last time you opened that drawer at all. This is where Danshari becomes deeply practical. Not just letting go of clothes or clutter, but consciously separating what truly protects you from what simply weighs on you. Tax documents matter. Warranties matter. A receipt from a coffee maker you don't even own anymore does not. Most people in the West never realize how much mental weight paper carries. It's not just physical space. It's a small, nagging reminder that something is unfinished, unsorted, unresolved. Sort what protects you, release what doesn't. That drawer isn't a filing system anymore. It's become a monument to decisions you've been avoiding, one page at a time. Number 8 is smaller than paper, but somehow it multiplies faster than anything else in your home. This is the one we teased at the beginning. Somewhere in your kitchen, there's a gadget you bought with real excitement. A spiralizer, a bread maker, a juicer still in its box. You imagined a version of your life where you'd use it every week. That life never quite arrived, and now it sits in a cabinet, taking up space for a routine you don't actually have. Most people in the West buy tools for the life they wish they lived, not the one they're actually living. Japan approaches the kitchen from the opposite direction entirely. A traditional Japanese kitchen holds far fewer tools, but every single one gets used, often daily, chosen with real intention. Fewer objects, deeper relationship with each one. That's the quiet standard. And this is the part that changes how you see everything else in that cabinet. A gadget you never use isn't a convenience waiting to happen. It's a small monument to a version of your life that never became real. Let the tool go. Let the fantasy go with it. Number 9 is one we promised at the very start, and it's not in your kitchen at all. It's in your bathroom, and you probably use it every single day without noticing. Walk through your living room right now, the way you actually do every day. Chances are you step around something. A side table jutting into the path, a chair angled just wrong, a couch pushed so far into the room that walking past it feels like a small negotiation every single time. Most people in the West see this as a layout problem, something to fix eventually, never urgently. Japan sees it as something far more important. This is where ma comes in, the Japanese idea of negative space, not emptiness for its own sake, but sacred space, treated with the same care as the objects around it. In a Japanese room, the space between things matters as much as the things themselves. Furniture blocking a natural path doesn't just look wrong, it quietly disrupts the way a room breathes and the way you move through your own life inside it. Here's the part that changes everything. A room isn't defined only by what's in it. It's defined by what's left open, the space that lets you move, breathe, and think clearly. Save the last 2 items for the very end, because they don't just clear your home, they change how you see everything else on this list. This is the one we warned you about at the very beginning. Somewhere in your home, there's a box. Old birthday cards, ticket stubs from a concert years ago, a note someone wrote you once, folded so many times it's gone soft at the creases. You don't look at these things often, but you can't imagine throwing them away either. Most people in the West believe holding on to every memento means holding on to the memory itself. Japan offers a gentler and honestly more freeing way to see it. Mono no awada, the gentle awareness of impermanence, the idea that things are beautiful precisely because they don't last forever. A ticket stub isn't the concert. A card isn't the friendship. The memory already lives inside you, whole and untouched, whether or not the paper survives in a box in your closet. This is the part that changes how you see everything else you've held onto. You were never protecting the memory. You were protecting yourself from feeling like the moment was truly over. But some things are beautiful precisely because they end, And letting the object go doesn't erase what it meant. Keep the few that still bring you joy. Release the rest, gently. The last item on this list is smaller than all of these combined, and somehow it will feel like the biggest relief of all. Open a drawer near your kitchen or reach into a box in your closet, and you'll likely find a tangle of cords. Chargers for phones you replaced years ago, cables for a laptop you no longer own, a remote for a television that isn't in your home anymore. None of it works with anything you currently use. All of it just sits there, tangled and forgotten. This category is small, but it's honest. There's no emotional story here, no guilt, no memory, no fear of waste. Just things that stopped being useful the moment their matching device disappeared. In Japan, usefulness and ownership are tightly linked. An object without a purpose isn't neutral. It's just taking up space that something useful could occupy instead. This is the easiest weight to lift on this entire list. Nobody feels sentimental about a tangled charger. Untangle the drawer and you'll feel lighter in about 10 minutes flat. One item remains, and it's not really about your home at all. Somewhere in your home, there's one object that isn't like the others. Not a duplicate, not a stockpile, not even a memento in the ordinary sense. It's something tied to a person you used to be, a trophy for a sport you gave up, a diploma for a career you abandoned, an old journal from a version of yourself who wanted a different life entirely. You keep it because letting it go feels like admitting that person disappeared, that the dream ended, that you became someone else. This is where Danshari reveals its deepest meaning, not disposing of things, cutting attachment. And the hardest attachment isn't to an object at all. It's to an old identity you've quietly outgrown but haven't fully let yourself release. Here's the truth that changes everything else on this list. That old version of you didn't disappear. She grew. She became the person standing in this room right now, reading these words, ready for something lighter. The object isn't proof that she existed. You are. Keep her memory. Let the object go, because the space it leaves behind isn't empty. It's finally, fully yours. 12 things. One weekend. That's all this takes. You don't need to overhaul your entire life to feel the shift. Start small. Pick 3 categories from this list: the duplicates, the guilt gifts, the tangled cords, and clear them before Sunday night. Notice how the room feels different, not just looks different. That feeling is the whole point. Most people in the West never realize that a lighter home isn't about having less. It's about finally having room to breathe. Every object you release makes space for something quieter, clarity, calm, a version of your life that isn't crowded by things you never chose in the first place. If any of this landed with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it too. Someone drowning in someday clothes, someone still holding onto a box of ticket stubs they haven't opened in years. And if you're watching this, you already know exactly which 12 things are waiting in your own home right now. Subscribe, because every week we go a little deeper into the quiet wisdom Japan has been living for centuries. Wisdom that doesn't ask you to do more, only to hold less. You don't need a home that looks empty. You need one that finally lets you breathe.